Five, four, three, two, one. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week Live. I am your host, DJ Tony, and today's topic on Wellness Week Live is what is cocaine on Wellness Week Live? Okay, so I'm doing a series called What Is, and so we're going to be delving into different topics, but we're going to be doing a sub-series of what is this drug, that drug, this drug, that drug. So, in full disclosure, I've never done a drug. I don't do drugs, and I don't plan on doing drugs. But being a professional DJ and just being somebody that lives on Earth, you hear a lot about drugs. Unfortunately, we know people who have passed from drugs, and I'm including alcohol in this because alcohol is a drug. But we know people who are struggling with drug addiction and drug abuse and drug use. So there's a lot that I guess a lot of us know or don't know. And again, like you. Unfortunately, I've lost loved ones to drug use. Again, everything from beer on, but there's a lot that I don't know about drugs because although I've lost loved ones to drugs, I don't use drugs, so I don't know. And I think a lot of times, probably like you or some people, I think drugs, it's all the same. Crack, coke, heroin, LSD, PCP, drugs, yeah. But what are these things that are prolific in our society and all around us in some shape, form, fashion, or way? Like I said, we all know someone, that is struggling, was struggling, passed away, unfortunately. So today's show is about cocaine. And, it's serious. I would say it's part of the epidemic in our country. And boy, at this point, there's probably millions of people who have died of cocaine, throughout the life of our country. So yeah, let's get into it. So cocaine, and I have my research here. And let me say this too, as a professional DJ, I've been DJing for 29 years and going. I am surrounded by a lot of this shit in some shape, form, fashion, or way. I do a lot of events, and I see in a tertiary way the effects of what this does to people. I guess in that respect, I have some experience with these types of drugs, aside from losing friends and loved ones. But so I'm going to be jumping around because that's what I do. So my research. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. If I say so one more time, just smack me. All right. I was about to say so. All right. Let's go back to the beginning. Cocaine has been around forever. It comes from the coca leaf or the coca plant that's been around since Earth. So ancient people from typically Southern America, because that's where coca leaves are from and originate from, the coca plant, ancient people would do what people do. You're curious about stuff. So you would chew a plant, chew this, chew that, see if this works for a toothache or not. And they found that coca leaves, the coca plant, oh, wow, it's a numbing, a stimulating effect. It helps with a toothache or whatever it was that the ancients people were trying to alleviate. Fast forward, you get into the 1800s, and chemists, good old chemists, they figured out a way to isolate, certain molecules and atoms and things and make cocaine. And cocaine is a process. It's not, the leaf is where it originates from, like anything else. It originates from these plants or these products. And then they do, they boil it, they cook it, they break it down, and they make cocaine. So, but cocaine comes from the coca plant. You probably knew this, but the coca plant, and these plants can be found in Peru and in Colombia and Bolivia and Mexico and all that jazz. That's where they live, in that kind of mountainous jungle environment. That's where the plants live. Now, the young me, when I was a child, why can't we just wipe out all the coca plants and there'd be no drugs? You can't do that. You're wiping out freaking jungles and forests. We need the jungles and forests, And again, the coca plant by itself it's nothing. It's just a plant. Okay. So, but yeah, and yes, cocaine used to be in Coca-Cola. In 1886, there was some level of some rudimentary Coke in Coca-Cola. Not anymore, but the name still stays. Okay, so I used to always wonder, you hear people say, hey, they're high, they're on Coke, they're high. What does that mean? Because there's different Coke and heroin and LSD and PCP and this and that and moving pot. What does high mean? Different drugs make you differently high. So in cocaine's instance, to be a high on cocaine means that you are alert, you are, you're ginned up, you're rigged, you're on, you're happy times a million, so that's the high that coke gives you. It revs you up, it makes you alert. It's like Christmas morning times a million, so that's the cocaine high, so to speak. The downside of cocaine is, well, what goes up must come down, and so you're down, you're now you've crashed, so you don't like that because you're irritable, you're annoyed, you're angry, you're paranoid, and so you need more coke, and here we go, the vicious cycle. From my understanding, the highs and lows of coke are not as demonic as maybe heroin would be. Still, cocaine's a problem, don't do it. But yeah, so that's that. People can snort coke, which is what you probably we see right in the movies and whatnot. People can snort coke, you can shoot cocaine, heroin, like heroin, you can shoot it. You can what do you call it? You can smoke cocaine. So it's just different delivery systems. I would imagine you can vape cocaine. But most of the time what we see is people snorting cocaine, and they do that because it's somewhere in between smoking it and injecting it. It goes right into the nasal cavity, and that's a very thin layer that we have separating our blood barrier. So when you snort something, it's a pretty quick delivery, pretty strong, versus maybe smoking it or chewing it, I don't know, ingesting it like that. So people would snort it. That's the popular thing you see out there in movies and whatnot, and on the mirror with the rolled up whatever. So that's how the delivery system is. And the high can last 5 minutes, it can last 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay. So we talked about the downsides. Again, you're irritable, you're paranoid, you're angry because you came off your high. The ultimate problem with cocaine is you die. How do you die? How do you overdose on cocaine? So because it revs the engine up, and the engine is your heart, it revs you up. Well, if it revs up too high, what happens to a car engine? It seizes, it stops. That's the same thing with cocaine. So if you rev up too much, the engine, your heart, done, kaput. That's a little bit different than other drugs, how other drugs kill, but cocaine just revs you up too much, and then your heart can't take it and you die. So the thing, though, when you're taking coke, once you make the deal with the devil, the cocaine decides if it wants to kill you or not you. So that's the problem, because you don't know. The cocaine will determine if you live or die. And every time you roll the dice and snort coke or smoke it or inject it, now coke's in charge. Okay, so last year, speaking about death, last year, 19,447 people died of cocaine overdose. Yes, people can overdose of cocaine. So, wow, 19,000 plus. That's a lot. That's like several towns just disappearing every 12 months. That's a problem. So, it's not as much as alcohol, though. Alcohol reigns supreme in how it rains down death. Alcohol killed 140,000 people last year, give or take. But so alcohol, meaning your beer, your wine, your vodka, your whiskey, your bourbon, kills far more than cocaine. I'm not saying not saying that cocaine's not a problem. Cocaine is a big, big problem, and it's part of the epidemic. We need to, solve it. Okay, moving on. So cocaine is always cut with something. No one gets pure cocaine. I mean, for the most part. So cocaine is usually cut with whatever the white powder is out there, baby powder, talcum powder, cornstarch, I don't know, rat poison, literally. I mean, whatever a dealer or producer can cut, because you don't, you want to expand your profit. If you're giving 100% pure cocaine, I mean, you probably kill somebody, but it seems like, kind of like fast food places, you're not getting a pure filet mignon hamburger. It's getting cut with something, cut with water or fat or whatever. Same thing, same premise here, in an odd, weird way. It's a business, right? And so they got to cut with, again, some type of powder. It might be a 60-40 split, a 50-50 split, a 70-30 split, whatever the dealer wants to do. But cocaine's always cut with something. And if you're unlucky, fentanyl gets put in there. And now you're talking about what they call speedball, where you're getting heroin and cocaine, and you're going to F your life up. But anyways, it's usually cut with something. That's how cocaine usually works. And preferably a white substance, a white powder. Okay. So, it's funny because I think in a weird, strange way, cocaine is quasi acceptable compared to like heroin. Like heroin's definitely like, the black sheep, the bad boy. But like cocaine, it's almost, you see it here in memes and stuff, like, in movies. It's almost like a joke almost, and it's not a joke, but cocaine is almost like that. It's not heroin, uh, but and it's not pot. It's in between there somewhere. And you get a lot of people that are doing it and have done it. And it's like, hey, my coke habit, ha 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 ha, and she's doing coke and he's doing, yeah, they did it, do it, da, dee, da. And it's so, we don't see the devastation or as much maybe as, heroin, but again, 19,447 people died last year. It's a problem. And it's an addictive problem. It's not something that is, we're going to do a show on pot. Pot's also not cupcakes and coffee, and I get it. Coffee is a drug too. I understand. But let's be honest. Okay, come on. So it's not cocaine and marijuana. But my point is, cocaine is not this. It's in the middle somewhere, I would say, probably in our culture, where it's like, ooh, it's not heroin, but it's not pot. It's in between. And I've heard of and know of people. Hey, I used to do coke and this and that. The 80s, hey, it was wild, and But I think that's the danger of it because it's quasi acceptable almost, and you got people doing it that are, you name it, lawyers, doctors, pilots, teachers, moms, dads. And again, I'm not saying everybody's doing it, but it's a little bit more acceptable, so to speak, than heroin and stuff like that. Again, so no, you shouldn't do cocaine, but okay. Also, moving on, I would say there's 3 reasons why people would do cocaine. There's 3 reasons why people do any drug, and that is number 1, mental pain. You want this mental pain, your psychological pain, to be taken away, so it's an escape mentally. 2, physically, you're physically hurting. You want to escape. And 3, I would say just curiosity kills the cat. You're young, you're in your teens, your 20s, you're invincible. Hey, I'm going to try this, try that. So those are 3 reasons why people would do cocaine or any drug for that matter. But that's what I find. That's what I see or know of. Final thoughts. I would say, if you're doing cocaine, don't stop. Go get therapy. You need help. It's not a game. It's addictive. It's a drug. It's ruining your life. Maybe not abruptly or acutely, but it will win. The house always wins. The devil always wins. So with this stuff, I think people who are users, they need therapy. They don't need jail. Like any drug, if you're a user, you need jail. If you're dealing it, did I just say jail? If you're taking cocaine or any drug, you need therapy, not jail. But if you're dealing it, yeah, you need some jail. So that's it. I think we're getting better as a society to see that our loved ones, they need our help, and they need structure. They need love. They need therapy. They need jobs. They need something to keep them occupied, because an idle mind is the devil's playground. So basically that's that on cocaina. It's not going away. It's never going to go away. You can't solve everyone's problem, but we can do better as a society. And I think we are doing better in this country with all drugs and how we see them. Someone, gone are the days of, oh, you do drugs, you're evil. No, you're doing drugs. You need help. You're hurt. You got a problem. You don't need a beating. You need help. You need therapy. So basically that's that. If you are using, get ahead of it. There's a lot of great programs out there. A lot of it's for free. You can call, I believe it's 988. That's a crisis helpline. It's free. And then they can direct you. That's a countrywide number, I believe. You can look into, your municipalities and your cities. And there's a thing called the internet. Go on the internet. There's a lot of free help out there. There's a lot of help you can pay for also. You don't suffer alone. You deserve better. Your family loves you. People love you. So, this doesn't have to be this way. So, check out those, places. I'm sure churches and synagogues and mosques, they also have places. I know there's some shame, obviously, if you have a drug habit. But you know what? We're all weak. we're human, so there's no shame in getting help. And you know what I always say, God's going to judge us, you and me. God's going to judge us on how many times we get up, not how many times we fall. So if you're struggling and you're saying to yourself, well, I've tried, but I failed 7 times, keep failing, keep trying. You will win. Never give up. Your life is worth it. You're worth it. So anyways, hope that helps. I hope that demystify some of the stuff around cocaine and its taboos and stuff. But yeah, don't do it. Anyways, okay. Thanks, everybody. Check back in. We got another bunch of great shows coming up on the What Is series. My name is DJ Tony. Over and out. 5, 4, 3, 2,